Alright, so today we're gonna go and do the skill page tier list. I always forget to do these just because I'm so focused on the characters. I forget about the skill pages, but I'm gonna go and make this video just in case it can help y'all on choosing your monthly SSR skill page and then the future SSR skill page that you want to go for. Specific characters such as seasonals, etc, etc. So if y'all new, drop a like, hit the sub. If y'all do want me to do a monthly skill page tier list, let me know, but I don't think this is something I'm gonna do monthly unless y'all want it. So yeah, let me know. But I think the last time I did this was like a minute ago. Anyways, let's get into it. We have a lot of skill pages to look at, obviously, so I have all of them, including season 1 and season 2 and all the way up to Julius, which is just perfect enough. And then whenever we do get season 3 characters, etc., I won't add them on. All right, but let's go and take a look at the rare skill pages here. So Aqua Blast is going to be apply a 6%. Keep in mind, I'm only going to be looking at the base percentage because I'm going to apply this to rare, SR, and even SSR, just because most people, including free to play, you probably do not have these skill pages maxed out. So we're going to be looking at the base percentage only, so kind of bear that in mind. But applying a 6% increased accuracy to yourself, yeah, not too bad. I mean, for a rare skill page, this is pretty good offense related. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait, which one is this? Aqua Blast. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in D tier for now. I just don't think it offers anything too crazy, and it definitely could be better. But for a real skill page, if you do want to put that onto a TPS unit, this is not too bad. Moving on, next, what do we have? Let's go ahead and take a look at Bottled Luck. Okay, Bottled Luck, what are we looking at? 20% chance to remove a magic attack reduction from self at the start of the turn. Okay, this is not anything too crazy because there aren't a lot of units. Oh, this is the wrong one. Just kidding. Which one is it? It's this one. So there aren't a lot of units that actually go ahead and apply magic attack reduction, so it's not exactly something that you're gonna be relying on pretty heavy. So yeah, I mean, this is a rare skill page. I don't think it offers anything too crazy, and I don't think a lot of y'all probably are using this anyways. So let's continue on. Moving on, what do we got next? Okay, Chain Thief here. Chain Thief. So 20% chance of applying a reduced skill cooldown by 1 turn upon using a special skill. Okay, this honestly is not too bad, but it is 20% chance. So this can be handy in some situations, but I don't think it's going to be one that you're going to be using too often. So it's pretty okay. Like I said, rare skill page. I don't think a lot of people are going to be using it, and I don't think you're using it right now. But let's go ahead and move on here, right? Alright, so I actually went ahead and got rid of all the rare skill pages, and then we're going to focus on the SR and SSR ones because I think those are probably the ones that a lot of people were looking forward to anyways, and they're really good. Also, if you didn't know, these two skill pages being rares are just extremely good. So if I go over here, let me show you here. Sharp Eye, straight outright, you're gaining yourself a 5% increase in physical attack and 5% increase in magic attack. Like, this is actually pretty stupid for a rare skill page, and it's just insane. So I do recommend to use this one if you're lacking any offense related skill pages. This is going to be so helpful. So build this one up if you're able to. And then Seke is honestly disgusting because look, if you take a look here, Seke provides a 5% increase in max HP and then a 10% increased defense to yourself. So for tanks, this is going to be amazing. And for Season 2 Charmy, this is going to be amazing. So yeah, I am a big fan of this skill page, and I had this one maxed out. So yeah, I would go ahead and build this one up if you were able to, alright? But let's go ahead and talk about the SR skill pages here because, yeah, they are actually kind of disgusting. Now, Luck here. Attacks are applying a 7% increased damage to yourself upon using skill 1. So anytime you use a skill 1, then you do get a 7% increased damage, which is not too bad. For a SR skill page, I don't think, I mean, you can use it, actually, it's pretty viable, but I feel like there are obviously better options that you're able to bring on to your unit for that skill page. So Luck, I'm going to go ahead and put in C tier for now, just because I know what some of the other skill pages are, and I don't think it's better than, you know, I don't think Luck deserves to be in this B tier spot, is what I'm saying. Alright, next up, we have Backlight, I believe. This one's actually disgusting. So, grants immunity to stun to yourself for 1 turn at the start of the battle and apply a 6 to 12% HP recovery to yourself upon being stunned. So, if you do get stunned afterwards, then you're applying a 6% HP recovery to yourself. This is honestly disgusting, and for PvP, like, you should be using this, okay? If you're not using this in PvP, you're not playing the game right. This is honestly such a disgusting, because think about it, right? Everyone in high-ranking PvP tends to use a speed unit plus a Mars to go for the turn 1 stun. You proc the skill page onto your unit, and they don't stun you, which honestly saves you a lot of trouble and just you playing your PvP matches. Because I know that, like, whenever I get stunned, it honestly messes up my flow of things, and it goes so wrong. So if you're able to have the skill page onto your unit, especially on a defense team comp, then this is going to be disgusting as well. So yeah, I recommend you use skill page if you're able to, and it's just super duper helpful. So yeah, that's a S tier skill page in my opinion. Next up, what do we got? Blue lightning ball. This is going to be 30% chance of applying a 11% increased stamina. Okay, upon landing crit. I don't like these type of skill pages. I just don't think it's the greatest because A, you only have a 30% chance, and then on top of the fact that you have to get a crit, so it's like two unknown factors that you're getting. So for that reason alone, I don't like it. So yeah, definitely not the best in my opinion. Next up, what do we got? Cold-blooded observer here. Attacks after applying a 10% increased crit damage to yourself upon using ultimate. This is not too bad. And keep in mind that skill pitch like this onto Kyoto, who has a guaranteed crit on the ultimate, is going to be working off of crit damage. This would not be too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put this Heath here. I'm going to go ahead and get this B tier. I don't think it's A tier worthy, but I don't think it's definitely C tier. I do think it's pretty decent because like I said, you want to apply this to a unit that does have a lot of crit rate, so they're guaranteed to work off of that crit damage. And if that's the case, then it's going to be used in doing some good damage, right? So yeah, B tier. What do we got next? All right, Sister Teresa. I was about to say Sister Lily. Sister Teresa grants 7% increased HP recovery. Okay, this is not the best. You're not really going to be using this a lot like that. There are other better skill pages you could use for your healers or just people being healed in general. So I'm actually going to go give Sister Teresa, where are you? I'm going to go give her C tier. I don't think it's D tier worthy, but I don't think it's B tier. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in that C tier spot. Yeah, definitely not the greatest, okay? Not the greatest. Next up, what do we got here? We have, oh, Voltos. I mean, look, come on, you gotta know, okay? 5% increased stamina to yourself upon using an ultimate. It's just honestly disgusting for Voltos. This is so crazy good. Anything like guaranteed stamina or speed, I think it's just honestly disgusting. So it's not honestly S tier worthy, but I will go ahead and give it A tier. I do think this is an amazing skill page. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to move all these skill pages one down and then increase the ranking. I'm not gonna lie, now that I'm looking at it, I'm just like, we haven't even gotten to the SSR skill pages yet, which is crazy. But Voltos, insanely good. Next up, we do have Finral. Finral, I think, is just as amazing. 25% chance of applying a 10% increased stamina to yourself upon using skill 2. Okay, this is honestly pretty okay. For Finral, yes, this obviously is great, but just a 25% chance, and I know you are probably going to max it out, but I just want to look at the base percentage like I said already. 10% increased stamina is not too bad upon using skill 2, which is something that you can proc off, you know, pretty often, I would say. So I'm actually going to go ahead and give this B tier. I don't think it's A tier worthy or S tier for that matter, but I do think it is B tier. I mean, it's a decent chance. 25% is not anything too high, but it's not definitely too low, right? I mean, it's not like 10% or something. So yeah, 25% chance, pretty decent. Next up, what do we have? All right, Ghosh, dude, if y'all have not seen the SR PvP video, this was honestly stupid. I don't know how I managed this, but attacks after applying a 7% increased damage to yourself upon using skill 2. Yeah, I mean, yeah, after using him in that PvP video, I had to give him A tier. I have to. I mean, it is just crazy good. It is so good. So I'm actually a huge fan of it. Most likely I will have to do some moving around for the tiers, but yeah, it is not a bad tier list so far. So this skill page, I actually like it a lot. Next up, what do we have? Okay, Gifso is always disgusting for PvE content. Grants 5% increase HP recovery received and 5% increase max HP to yourself. Actually, this isn't the greatest, okay? If I'm being honest with you, the only reason why you would use it is to grant yourself the 7% dispel bleed, which isn't even that great. Wait, Gifso skill page sucks actually. Okay, Gifso, unfortunately, you do not have a fantastic skill page, my guy. So I'm actually going to go ahead and give you C tier. I don't think it's B tier, but I definitely don't think you belong here. But I do think you're around that C tier mark. It's not anything too crazy, if I'm being honest. Okay, next up, what do we have here? Ice Strike. What is this? 30% chance of removing increased attack. Okay, this is not anything too crazy either, just because a lot of units don't necessarily have this put on. What does this look like? Okay, Ice Strike. Do I have this one already put up? Oh, I do. I do. I put it in D tier, which I would probably end up putting anyways. Okay, never mind. Never mind. All right, we got Ice Wall next, which, what is this doing here? Grants immunity to freeze. Okay, automatically, this is not anything too crazy because there are like probably 2 or 3 units in the game that does have freeze. Okay, yeah, this was not the greatest. Ice Wall, you were going in D tier just because there are like very few units that have freeze, and on top of the fact that those units that have freeze, they're not anything too crazy itself. Moving on to Loyal Sister. Soul here has a great skill page if I remember. 20% chance of applying a 5% attack reduction onto an enemy for 1 turn upon taking damage. For PvE wise, this is actually pretty decent because of gear stages, which I have used before. It's not too bad. I will say it's not the greatest, but I do think it's something you can use if you want to. So Soul, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. 20% is not exactly the highest. I would have liked this to be higher, but you know, for what it offers, I do think it can be pretty handy for PvE content, especially like I said, gear stages. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in a B tier here. Now moving on to Noelle's is going to be what we're working with. Upon being hit by crit, apply a barrier equal to 5% of max HP at the ally with the highest attack for 1 turn. Okay, I don't like this part because generally attacking units don't have yeah, the unit is always gonna have the unit with the highest attack is always gonna be your DPS, and DPS units don't have a lot of HP to begin with, so this skill page is not anything too crazy. And on top of the fact that you do have to be hit by a crit, which is not always a guaranteed. So yeah, not the best skill page, I will say. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in C tier. I just don't like it. Moving on, next, what do we have? Charmy is great. Apply 7% max HP to yourself. This is disgusting, okay? For any max HP units such as Season 2 Charmy or Kahono, this is a great skill page to use. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in A tier, and plus this is just outright. It's no percentage based or anything, so I like it. I like it. Next up, what do we got? This, my favorite. Automatically, okay? 7% increased damage to yourself. Yeah, I mean, come on, you cannot go wrong with that at all. This is S tier in my opinion. Just fantastic. For it being an SR skill page, this is top of the tier so far. I love it, and I use it a ton. So next up, a Night Blooming Flower. What do we got? Alright, 25% chance of applying 8% fortify to yourself upon taking damage. Does not stack. This is not too bad actually. For defense units, this can actually be pretty viable. I will say though, it's probably more of a PvE skill page than PvP. And for that being said, I'm actually gonna go and get this. I'm gonna go ahead and give this. Do I want to give it A tier? What is percentage? 25% chance is actually pretty decent. So I'll leave it in B tier just because Finral is also 25% chance. So I don't want to extend that. I like this though. This is actually pretty good. Pretty good. Next up, what do we have? We have, let's see, Vanessa here. What are you offering? Alright, Vanessa, you are offering a 20% increased damage resistance to the ally whilst he lowers HP for 1 turn upon using skill 2. Okay, this is not too bad. It is straight outright, so you're automatically getting this guaranteed. Damage resistance is pretty okay. And then it's to the ally whilst he lowers HP. Okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and give this. I'm gonna give this C tier. Do I want to give it C tier or do I want to give it B tier? Honestly, okay, this first part I like. This second part, however, I'm not the biggest fan of because it is the ally with the lowest HP, and so I guess this can be somewhat handy. Okay, I'm actually going to go to give it B tier. I don't think it's C tier because I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think it's that great to put in A tier, but I'm going to leave it B tier to where it's like kind of okay and somewhat viable to use. So yeah, that is Vanessa. SR Austin. This skill page, if I remember correctly, is great. 10% reduced damage taken to yourself upon taking damage from a boss. So it's definitely PvE related. Guild boss is going to be great against this. Any raid content will be great against this. So I'm actually going to go give this S tier. I think this is great. For PvE wise, this is fantastic. 10% damage reduction is insane. So if you want to use this will not be too bad. But like I said, this is very specific. So definitely PvE, guild boss, raids is going to be great to have. So I recommend you go ahead and use the skill page if you are able to, okay? Next up here, what do we have? Resilient Justice. 10% increase attack to yourself for 1 turn upon using special skill. So this is the same thing like luck here. So I'm going to go and put this on the same tier. Is it luck? Wait, let me just double check. Luck is okay. This is actually higher. Ooh, it is higher actually. Oh, it's increased attack, and then this is increased damage upon skill 1, upon skill 2. Okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and let's see. I'll put this in A tier. I think this is actually a pretty viable skill page to use. Upon using the ultimate as well, keep in mind you're only using this for physical attackers and not magic, but yeah, there are some physical attackers that can be benefiting from this, so it's not too bad. And plus you're guaranteed to get it, which I do like. So yeah, not too bad. A tier you are gonna go. Next up here we have SR Mimosa, which isn't this magic attack? It is. So same exact thing as the skill 2 here. 10% increase magic attack. This is great as well, so I'm actually gonna go and put this in A tier. This is great, especially for units such as like SR Charmy, who is based off of magic attack. This is going to be quite helpful. So I like this. I like this a lot. Next up, what do we got? Nebra here. Nebra, you need your skill page. So, or what is it? I was waiting for her though. Okay, so 14% chance of removing increased defense from the enemy upon attacking. 14%, not the greatest. So Nebra, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put in B tier. It's still on that low percentage. Or I want to give C tier. Ooh, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna leave it C tier now, and then maybe we might move it up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll leave it C tier for now though. What do we got next? Solid here is what? Increased crit rate? Yeah, just straight outright crit rate. This is not too bad. 7% though, it is pretty low. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put this B tier just because I have used this and I actually am a fan of it. So B tier, you will be what do we got next? Magna, aka debuff Magna, 10% accuracy and 10% penetration. This is on it for SR skill page is great. More offense related stats that you're able to get, which is great and fantastic. So Magna, and you're guaranteed to get this, by the way. A tier automatically. In my opinion, this deserves A tier. Just fantastic to have, in my opinion. All right, moving on, we got Silent Stone here, which is going to be 30% defense and 10% endurance to yourself. Wait, this is stupid. What? This is disgusting, bro. For a debuff skill page, 30% increase in defense and then 10% endurance. That is honestly insane. This is so high. Why is this so high for no reason? Oh my gosh. I'm actually gonna go ahead and give this. Do I give this S tier? I might have to. The fact that it's just straight outright base percentage, 30% increased defense and 10% endurance is actually stupid. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give this S tier. I don't know why this is so high for no reason, unless Pridemon has it wrong. But yeah, that's actually insane. I did not know that. Wow, that is quite disgusting. Okay, what do we have next? Skull Flask. What is this doing? Applies 8% increased damage to yourself when HP is equal to 25% or lower, which I don't like. Essentially, this is trying to make it like a whole Black Austin situation, but for 25%, that's going to be extremely low to the point to where like you're going to get one taps and you might not even be able to make good usage of this. So yeah, this is going to be in C tier. I don't think you're going to be using this quite often, but just in case you have to rock on something low, then this can be great. But I mean, for Black Austin with the whole Witch Queen and everything, this actually is viable, but obviously you can run something else which can be better. So it's very, very situational, but only Black Austin is the only unit that comes to mind when it comes to the skill page, and I don't think you're going to use this on anyone else. But even Black Austin, you can use this on you can use other skill pages to kind of make it work. All right, Spear of Lightning. What do we have here? It's going to be a 30% chance to remove increased defense from an enemy upon attacking. Okay, increased defense, a lot of units actually do have, so this is actually somewhat viable. 30% chance, I actually do like that. That's actually pretty high. So Spear of Lightning, you're going to go ahead and go in B tier. This is not too bad to use at all. Increased defense, a lot of units have, and Rodus has this as well. So if you're able to remove that, then less tank that the enemy is having. So great. Next up, we have Strawberry Bomb, the event skill page. Upon taking a crit, has a 30% chance to apply 30% increased defense. This is great. The only thing is that you have to get hit by a crit, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Again, just an unknown factor, which you're not always guaranteed here. If I did have it, I would have put it in B tier, okay? But I don't have it on here, so yeah, B tier, I would have placed it, but alright. Next up, we have SR Uno is going to be attacks after applying a 10% increased damage upon using ultimate. 10% damage increase is not too bad, so I will leave it in. I think I'll give it B tier as well. I actually like this. It's not too bad actually. 10% is it's not high, but it's not too low. It's better than nothing, right? So B tier, you will go. Now that just leaves us with the SSR skill page. All right, let's get to work here. Alright, I have made adjustments, as y'all can see. So I kind of moved everything down. I did add a S+ tier list just because some of these SSR skill pages are like extremely broken. But let's get started because we obviously have a lot. So if y'all have not, drop a like, go drop a like right now and let me know what is your favorite skill page that we have in global so far and why, and which one are you looking forward towards the most out of the ones that we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and start off with season 2 or season 3, whatever you want to call it. Charmy grants 10% reduced damage taken if HP is equal to 90% or higher. Now for the SSRs, I am actually going to take a look at the you know, +2 skill, or I'm sorry, the skill 2 on top of it. So grant all allies increased damage resistance for level 3 for 2 turns. Okay, this is honestly not too bad, but it's not one that I would recommend Charmy is needed for. So I already said before, but Charmy, you really don't need hers. If I'm being honest with you, I think it's pretty okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. I don't even think it's worth A tier, because the season 2 skill page tier list, I mean, season 2 skill pages, they're just not needed in general. So adventure journal, applies 10% increased max HP to yourself. Broken for season 2 Charmy and Kahono and just whatever units based off of max HP. This is honestly disgusting, and the fact that you can get a free copy for free, I'll put it in S tier. I don't think it's S plus, but it's still insanely broken. So yeah, definitely up there. Next up, we have season 1 Mimosa, which a 20% chance of removing 1 debuff from all allies upon using skill 2, which is honestly really disgusting. And then you are also give all allies, okay, this is honestly the same. Wait, what part is different? Oh, this is extending buff duration by 2 turns instead of 1. Okay, this is honestly not too bad for your entire team, which is pretty decent. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and give season 1 Mimosa this. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in A tier. I don't think it's S tier worthy, but still really good, and percentage is not too bad either. 20%, it should be on the scale like here, but for an S, for what it offers, it is honestly really good. So I'm gonna leave that in A tier. Yeah, let's move on. All right, what do we got next? We have okay, season 2 Ghost here, which I said already you don't need. But at the start of the wave, 20% chance to grant damage over time immunity for 2 turns. If it does not work, grant poison immunity for 2 turns, which right now the damage over time really isn't anything too crazy. The only one that's going to be like starting to come up in like the near future is burn, and that's about it. And then upon landing a crit, applies dispel damage over time ×2 to all allies, which this is great, but this unit's not going to have a lot of crit rate itself. So Ghost here, I already said you before, but you don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and give him Charmy as well, B tier. Just don't think it's worth it. If I'm being honest, I just don't think that you're gonna be using it like that. All right, next up we have Fauna here, which is honestly one of the best skill pages in the game. Applies 10% increase all attack to yourself. Same thing as Julia's, which is honestly disgusting. So yeah, that's just crazy broken. And then 50% chance to burn an enemy dealing continuous damage for 2 turns, which is not too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Fauna S tier. Hers or S plus. Hers is just one of the very few ones in the game that are just insanely broken. So yeah, the passive is amazing, but the skill 2 is not exactly the best for Fauna. But hey, this is honestly one of the best ones in the game, so cannot go wrong with that. Veto here, what are we rocking? 7% endurance and 5% crit resistance, which is pretty okay. And then granting fortify level 2 to yourself for 2 turns. Okay, this is pretty okay. I mean, the fact that it's not percentage based and it is just straight outright can be helpful, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say that this is probably, endurance isn't one that you're not gonna use a lot of when it comes to just like the what is it, a buff. And then crit resistance can be helpful, but again, you want to make sure that you're going up against a unit with a lot of crit. So against Lith, this would be great. Julius potentially, but he is red typing as well, so I guess it can be helpful and somewhat usable. But I'm actually gonna go ahead and give this B tier. I don't even think it's A tier, dude. Just you know what, okay, I'll give him A tier. Okay, I don't think it's C tier. B tier I'm more like on the fence about, but A tier I think is like a pretty okay and safe spot to put Vetos in. So we'll leave Veto at A tier, and then let's move on here. Next up we have Real. What do we have? It's going to be a 60% chance of applying 10% defense reduction and plus a random enemy for 2 turns upon using ultimate, which is great. And then for each buff removed, inflicts 20% increased damage taken on them for 2 turns, which is great. Honestly disgusting. Really great. Probably the best substitute for Lotus, if I'm being honest with you. Real, where are you? Do I not have real skill page on here? Oh, let me put real skill page. Shoot, I did not have it. My fault. Sorry. Dude, it was like right in front of my face and I just could not see it. But this is great, honestly, to have. I'm going to go ahead and put an S tier. I think it's probably one of the best debuff skill pages in the game. Just for what it offers, it is just so good. I mean, very high percentage, by the way. More than 50%. And then you are applying a 10% defense reduction onto the enemy, which is going to be great. Allowing your DPS units to just do more damage onto them, which is going to be quite nice. Alright, next up, we have the Breath of Darkness, the free one here. Applies 10% increase all attack to yourself. Yeah, I mean, you cannot go wrong with this. Honestly, the best free DPS skill page in the game. And then we have Breath of Earth here, which is attacks are applying a 12% increased damage if the wearer has a barrier. This is honestly great right now because of Noelle and Rodis. which can be quite nice, but I don't think it's S plus. I do think this unit, I mean the skill page, can be somewhat used. I'm gonna go and give it S tier just because of the meta right now with barrier. This is great, just allowing your DPS to have more damage done, which is not too bad. So if you want to go ahead and rock this off, you are more than welcome to. Next up, we have Breath of Flame here, which does attacks after applying a 12% increased damage taken, increased damage to yourself upon attacking a boss. PvE wise, raid, guild boss, fantastic. You cannot go wrong with this. I'm gonna go ahead and give this S plus tier because it's just straight out right 12% increased damage, which is always great for PvE wise. This is fantastic to have. All right, moving on next. What do we got? Breath of Flame talked about. So now we move on to Breath of Light, which is doing Sword of the Wave, grant damage over time immunity to yourself for 1 turn, and it has a 10% chance to grant damage over time immunity for 2 turns. Okay, so this is not anything too crazy, especially right now. Like I said, the whole burn meta, which is the upcoming one, is not going to come out for probably like another season or 2. So I would say this skill page right now isn't one that you want to focus on. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and place it probably like B tier. I don't think, or even C tier. I don't think this is one that you're gonna want to focus on. And damage over time is not, it's not really relevant until later on. Like JP and KR, this is actually pretty viable to use just because of Witch Queen and Burn, etc, etc. Then this is handy to use, but on global right now, this is not one that you're going to want to be focusing on. So moving on next, what do we got? We have Breath of Water, which I don't think this one was anything too crazy. 25% chance to remove 1 debuff from yourself upon taking damage. Actually, I lied. This is honestly not too bad. 25% chance is actually pretty decent, and any debuff on yourself upon taking any damage whatsoever is honestly great. So I will say that this Breath of Water is pretty okay to use. I think it's, honestly, I'll put in B tier just because 1 debuff, I mean, you can honestly take a support unit and then cleanse it if you want to go ahead and do it that way, but if you want to just roll out a skill pitch to go and do this, then you can. Okay, Breath of Water, not the greatest, not the worst, but just pretty in that sweet spot of being pretty alright, I will say. Okay, moving on next, we have Breath of Wind, which I think this one's pretty good. Grants immunity status change to yourself for 1 turn, which is pretty decent, actually really good. At the start of each wave, it grants HP recovery equal to 7% of your HP upon being affected by a stat change. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So I actually do not mind the skill page. I think it is pretty viable as well in both PvE and PvP. So I'm actually gonna go and give this A tier. I don't think it's S tier worthy or S plus, but I do think it can be pretty good to use. Okay, so next up we have is this, oh, this is Despair Vote I was talking about. Oh crap, this isn't even the OG Vote. Wait, hold on. When HP is getting recovered, gain a barrier equal to 100% of own attack. And then, okay, so on, oh, this is physical attack, so not even magic attack. Okay, never mind. Despair Veto. This is the wrong skill that I have on, but or this is the wrong one I talked about. I'm actually gonna go put the C tier. I did not know that. Sorry. Yeah, it's not exactly the best. So wrong mistake on my end, but yeah, regular Veto, his skill page is gonna be in C tier. Okay, next up here, cannot believe I'm gonna say the season 1 Asta, one of my favorites, dude. Just outright 12% increased crit damage to yourself. Amazing skill page. And then 80% chance to grant yourself a 30% increased mobility if you do proc it off to Asta. Honestly, amazing. I cannot go wrong. This is probably one of the best skill pages in the game for DPS units. Just outright getting crit damage is just insane to have. So PvE, PvP, this skill page is fantastic to use. So I like it a lot, and one that I always tell people to use for your DPS if you don't have, you know, one that you can. So linked here is not too bad as well. Apply 7% increased crit damage, or sorry, just increased damage overall, and then 7% increased crit rate to yourself as well, which is not too bad. So if you are lacking, it's very weird because Licked is a magic attack user, but his skill page is for physical attack, which is a little weird. But oh, it's increased damage. Why do I keep thinking this is attack? I think Pride One has it wrong. I think this is 7% increased attack and not increased damage. I remember talking about this beforehand too. Okay, so Pride One does have it wrong. I want to say this is 7% physical attack, by the way, and not increased damage. So with that being said, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put Lick skill page. Okay, I'll give it S tier because I mean physical users still can use skill page, and it can be very good, but I don't think it's S plus worthy. I think this is great for being S tier. So let's move on. Crystal Orb of the Abyss here. 35% chance to HP recovery equal to 4% of max HP at the start of the turn. 35% chance is pretty alright. And it seems like it's capped off. Oh, sorry, this is where it does get enhanced. Okay, 35% is actually pretty okay, but I will go ahead and say I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'll go ahead and put it in B tier. I just don't think it's one that I'm gonna be using too often, but yeah, let's just leave it at B tier, okay? Next up, we have Lotus. Lotus here is actually really good. 25% chance of applying a 2% speed reduction onto the enemy for one turn upon attacking. So anytime you attack, you have a 25% chance to get this off, which is pretty decent. And then apply a concentrated attack for one turn, which is not too bad. So Lotus here, we're gonna go and give him A tier. I don't think it's B tier worthy. I don't think it's S tier worthy, but I do think it's A tier. So yeah, Lotus we'll put there. Moving on next, what do we have? What we got? Kiato here is going to be doing. Before attacking, there's a 40% chance to obtain a 20% increased crit damage buff, which is honestly insane and really high percentage, which I like that. And then if his damage over time was dispelled, gain 1 stack of exciting dance, which is only applying to Kiato. Okay, so for 40% chance, that's actually pretty decent. It's not low, and it's actually, I won't say it's like crazy high, but yeah, it's definitely on the higher side when it comes to percentages. Okay, so 40%, not too bad. Kiato, we're gonna go ahead and give this, I'll probably give it A tier. I don't want to give it S tier, but just because 40% is, you know, you're not guaranteed or anything like that. So, but I will say it is extremely decently high, so I'll put an A tier here for now, which is not too bad. Next up, we do have season 1 Yami, which I don't remember what it does. 20% chance of applying a increased special point +1 to yourself before attacking. Okay, and then you are removing 1 debuff, and then you are granting another special point, and then when the debuff is removed, attacks after granting a 15% increased damage dealt, which is not too bad. So for season 1 Yami, I'm gonna go ahead and give this to 20%. Is not the highest though, if I'm being honest, but it does do some really good things. I think I will go ahead and place it in B tier. I don't think it's one you're gonna be using too often, but if you do want to use the skill page, I do think you're probably gonna have to put some dupes into it so you can get that percentage just a little bit higher. But I mean, yeah, I mean, keep in mind there are gonna be future units in the way in the future that can also increase special points as well, so that way you're not having to rely on skill pages for your DPS. But for a DPS unit, I don't think I would personally put that onto, you know, my attacking types, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's move on here. What do we got? Sally, oh my god, one of the best support skill pages in the entire game. Upon using skill 2, applies a 10% increase all attack to the ally with the high stack for 2 turns. I mean, that's just broken. And then you are granting 90% life steal to ally whose HP is less than 30% for 1 turn when using Sally. This is stupid. S plus automatically one of the best support skill pages in the entire game, if not the best. So I'm a huge fan of it, and just it's so good, so good. Okay, we have Riot. How many more do we have? I feel like I don't think I have everyone on here. Yeah, I don't have, maybe, I'm not too sure, because it seems like we have a lot left for some reason. Riot here is at the start of the turn, if there are at least 3 buffs affecting you, gain a 30% increased accuracy for 1 turn. This is very specific. They made this too specific for him, because you need 3 buffs affecting you, which I guess it's like pretty okay, but I just don't like the way it's worded. Maybe it's the way it's worded, which I'm not understanding. But anyways, yeah, it can be good, but this is mainly gonna benefit Riot and probably Kiato, but any other DPS units maybe not so. So unfortunately, I think it's not one that's like too bad or too great. I'll leave it in A tier. I think it's one you can use, but it's not my primary choice to go to for DPS, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll leave it in A tier though. Let's see what we have next here. You are not here, you're not here. All right, Leopold, which I do have, right? Yeah, Leopold applies increase all attack proportionate to your current HP, maxed of 15%. And then if you do apply it, 40% chance to inflict burn. Okay, I don't like the skill page. It can be somewhat good, but the only thing is that it's proportionate to your HP, and bear in mind attacking units do not have a lot of HP to begin with, so it can't be good. Okay, I think it can be good. So let's just say you're getting that 15% increase all attack, which can be good in proportion to your HP. I'll go ahead and give this, do I want to give S tier? Let's see, do I want to give it S tier? Do I want to give it A tier? I think I'll give it A tier. I don't want to give it S tier because I don't think it's just that great. but I will say it is pretty decent to use if you are lacking on DPS skill pages. Okay, what do we have next? Here is going to be the free event Asta skill page, which for each debuff remove grant a 5% max HP as HP recovery, which is only going to be really beneficial towards Asta with the way this unit is working. Yeah, I mean, it's free, so we don't complain, but it's free doesn't mean it's great. So B tier you will go. Honestly, I want to put it in C tier. I think I'll leave it in C tier because I don't think it's like one. You're only using this for Asta, okay? You're not using this for anyone else. So yeah, that is that. Next up we have Moonlight Necklace. I was say Moonlit. Moonlight Necklace is 40% increased defense and 6% increased healing to yourself. This is broken for defense skill page. One of the best ones in the entire game. Okay, so S plus automatically. I love it. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. I don't have this in the thing here, but if I were to place it, grants 5% increased damage resistance to yourself and then 20% chance to inflict taunt on some damage for one turn if they have a debuff, which can be good. I think I would go ahead and overall place that one. I think I would probably just place it B tier. It's pretty good. The damage resistance is great, and then a 20% chance to taunt is not too bad as well. So yeah, but I think you are able to max it out, which is not too bad, not too bad. Next up we have Julius. Julius, I mean, y'all already know, dude. Increase 10% all attack. Broken, okay, and reducing stamina to 0 and then 6% to apply 10% decreased stamina besides the other targeted one, which is just broken. So S plus automatically. Next up we have season 2 Noelle, which is not the greatest. Upon being attacked, has a 20% chance to grant a barrier equal to 5% of the damage taken for 2 turns. And then you proc on to Noelle, then she does have a barrier, granting them HP recovery equal to 50% magic attack. So Noelle, I told you, is not one that you need either. I'm actually going to go and get to B tier. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's great. So it's kind of like if you pull it, great. You have something to rely on, but it's not one that you want to. I don't even think this is it's probably not best in slot for her, if I'm being honest with you, okay? So that is Noelle. Season 2, you know you're not here yet. Alright, Fuego, what are we looking at here? Apply 12% increased damage to yourself when HP is equal to 50% or higher. This is actually pretty decent because with the whole barrier meta as well, then this can be very handy. I'm actually gonna go and get this S tier just because of how the meta is right now. Then it can be very helpful because of having Noelle's barrier, Radha's barrier, etc. Your HP is most likely gonna be above 50% at most times, and so you're always guaranteed to have 12% increased damage, which is just insane. So I like that. Really, really nice. And then we have Charlotte here, which is an amazing debuff skill page. 35% chance of applying a 10% reduced crit resistance to an enemy for 2 turns upon attacking. Okay, never mind, I lied. And then what is this? Applying your defense reduction, or I'm sorry, reduced defense level 3 to all enemies for 2 turns. Okay, yeah, not the best. Never mind, I lied. But for Charlotte itself, this is great. But just in general, I don't think it's one you're gonna be using. Crit resistance is not something that you want to. It's not one that you need to, primarily be focused on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it. I'll give it B tier. I was gonna give it C tier, but I'll leave it B tier just because I know using it with Charlotte is actually really good. So I've used it before and it has helped me out a ton. So it's not too bad. And then let's see, Noelle here. The character is bad, but the skill page. Upon taking damage, has a 20% chance of applying a reduced special point times 1 to the attacker. Okay, that's actually not too bad. And then it grants 10% increased damage dealt for every continuous damage the enemy is taking. Okay, it's actually somewhat decent. So I'll actually give it A tier for a debuff skill page. This is not too bad. 20%, pretty decent. I almost want to put it here. I think I'll go ahead and put it here. I think for a debuff skill page, you're probably gonna want to use Reels more than Solid, or not Solid, but Noelle. But overall, that's not a bad one either. Okay, what do we have? Kohono here. Right, Kohono, yeah, we only have 2 left. Okay, Kohono, 35% chance of restoring 10% of all allies max HP upon being hit by a crit, max 3 times per battle, which is not too bad. And then applying this to Kohono, grant all allies dispel debuff times 2. So if you do have Kohonos, this can be great, and then it is going to be universal for any healer, so that part is fantastic. I'll actually give it A tier. I think this is a really good one for like Season 2 Charmy or just any healer that you want to use. Anytime you're hit by a crit, then you have a decent chance of restoring HP, which can be very, very helpful, okay? Next up, we have Mars, dude. Broken. Mars is doing apply 4% fortify upon taking damage, stacks up to 4 times. Effect resets at the start of each turn, which is just insane. And then it grants increased defense level 1 for 2 turns. So yeah, just kind of broken. Honestly, I don't even think it's S plus tier. I will go ahead and actually get this S tier. I know it resets every turn and everything, but I'll get this S tier. I don't think it's S plus, but I do think it's S tier worthy. Okay, so moving on, what we have is William skill page is ass. I remember this. Upon using skill 2, grant the ally with the lowest HP recovery equal to 6% of the max HP. Yeah, I mean, if you okay, this can be good if you want to. I won't say it's bad, but it's not one that I'm gonna tell you to go ahead and chase. I think it's just decent. Okay, decent. Next up is going to be Red Yami's, which is crit rate. Applies 2.5% increased crit rate at the end of an ally turn, stacks up to 5 times, which is great. The fact that it's stacking makes it great. I'll get this S tier. And then we do have Jack. Jack, what are you offering? I forgot. A 50% chance of applying a 10% increased damage to yourself upon using skill 1 before attacking. 50% is honestly insane. That's honestly really strong. For skill 1, that is not too bad. Increased damage is great, and then 50%, so you have a 50-50 chance of getting this off. I like it, actually. Really high gamble. And then what do we have here? Oh, season 2, you know, is not here in game yet. I forgot. So and then who do we have? Rodis, which is going to be at the start of the wave, grant yourself a barrier equal to 15% of max HP for 2 turns. The defending unit, you cannot go wrong with this. Honestly, one of the best ones in the game. Just having that barrier is amazing. So, and plus defending units typically they can have a pretty good amount of HP as well. So I like this. I like this. And then the last one is going to be the White Blizzard here. What do we have? 40% chance to remove silence and total silence from yourself upon starting your turn. This right now will not be meta, but in a little bit, whenever we do get the season 3 Charlotte, then this is gonna be good because a lot of people are gonna be running mono blue teams, including her. So, and she does inflict silence with a mono blue team, so you can use this skill page if you want to, which is not too bad. So for the upcoming meta, I will go ahead and actually give this to A tier. But overall, that is the SSR. This is the rare through SSR skill page for season 1 and season 2 of Black Clover Mobile, the global side. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Did I go ahead and mess up anywhere? Feel free to comment below and make your own version if you want to. But yeah, if y'all sticked around to the end, I appreciate y'all a ton, and drop a like. All right, take care, peace.